Good afternoon. It's Sunday, the 9th of May. I'm back in the reading nook after what seems like a week and a half of intermittent showers, which have prevented me getting to the parcels I have had building up. So I've got a big large one here, and of course, nice hot cup of tea. This one I need to get open because my cat has kindly vomited on it. So thank you very much, Kitler. That was really kind of you. So let's get into this and see what this big box contains. Go. A lot of things in here, I think. Pull it out. Yep. Big box of stuff from like the source, so I'm going to pull these out one by one. So what we've got first off is Mysteries of the World, the Scion Companion. This is a Scion 2nd edition. Scion is a role-playing game in which you play the children of the gods. Not quite demigods, but really just beginning to come into their legend. And the setting itself, it's published by Onyx Publishing, and the setting itself is one which myth and gods are real. They're sort of media personalities, and their faith sits alongside our own, and basically their lives are the subjects of gossip columns. Politicians essentially approach them for support and so on. They don't generally get it, but essentially they can sort of like invoke their name or try to. But at the same time, the titans whom the gods imprisoned basically in ages past are attempting to escape and bring down the gods. And it's up to the Scions to protect the world from them escaping. So this is Mysteries of the World, the Scion Companion. Through knowledge, wisdom, and the ability to see the unseen. Let me try again. Though the knowledge, wisdom, and the ability to see the unseen are many Scions' birthrights, the world holds infinite secrets. Gaze deep into okay, fine. Tezcatlipoca's, Tezkatiopoca's mirror, or the eyes of an avian bringer of omens, and no matter how sagacious you can imagine yourself to be, you'll learn something new or older than time. Okay, I'm embarrassed I can't pronounce that, and I'm really sorry that I can't. So have fun with that. Science Mysteries of the World presents optional rules and new pantheons, expands upon setting elements and systems, and gives story guides and players both a leg up in not only understanding Science's particular brand of story path system, but fine-tune it to meet their table's needs. You don't need this book to play a game of Scion, but if you want to explore the world, its many mysteries in more depth, it's got you covered. So we've got a system and advice for dining elements of the game, setting up and down to uniquely suit your game, an expansion of cults, crafting, and relics, 3 new pantheons: the Lower of Haiti, the Nemeteron Devos of Gaul, and the Yazeta of Persia, as well as the optional Atlantean Pantheon as an example that comes with advice and rules on how to correct your own. Custom purviews and pantheons and purviews are what essentially the areas of the world that your god has essentially guardianship over, and a guide to converting 1st edition Scion to 2nd edition. So nice clean layout. We open up the page. I've reviewed Scion Origin. I've not yet reviewed Scion Hero, which is the 2nd book. So we're getting into its full colour. Preparation of the artwork on the front cover. It's really fantastic artwork on the cover. Essentially, we've got like one of the Titan spawn, obviously escaping like a Hydra. And the characters deal with it because essentially this is sort of like an urban mythology, as much as it is an urban fantasy role-playing game, and you have basically 1,000 paths of a single road, and we're talking about the levels of myth and what it involves. And again, you've got the clash of the modern with the myth in the artwork. But, so yeah, I mean, I liked Scion quite a lot. I really enjoyed it, and essentially here we've got essentially the elements which could go into your game, and how to set it. The different levels. So you have iron, heroic, bronze, silver, and gold. So iron is the devil that resembles the real world. You keep the mythical at its lowest profile possible. You have fewer extraordinary elements to keep track of. Help you focus on more mortal themes and tell a story that feels more personal for the players. They already know how most of the world works. Here the divine is more mysterious and thus feels more wondrous when characters encounter it. And then you got to gold, with the axes set to this level includes the most outrageous and extreme elements at its purview, offering you not only the full palette of the world, and the world, capital T, capital W, is what the mythic world of the Scion is called. But you know, you're not only offering the full palette, you have a chance to push beyond it. The way the mundane works as an afterthought, and the change to the level brings the access making say cascaded to others, changing the level of the everyday world into an open, unequivocal ways. So essentially, the fantastic has an obvious impact upon the ordinary world. So we've got best similar. We've got a discussion of reshaping myth, depending upon the level of the myth level. Again, iron, heroic, bronze, silver, and gold. And it's doing this throughout this chapter, and it's talking about things like the modern epic, the bronze series, everyday prowess, the heroic series, and so on. Little boxes, and uncovering the saga of the silver series, unfolding saga of the silver series, and so on. It's giving you sort of like possibility of sort of like compound campaign concepts and the like. And then we have onto cults. We have essentially cults and organisations that the player characters, the Scions, can belong to, and gives cult responsibilities, connections, and so on. And these are only sort of like touched upon as organisations in the core Scion origin rules. And we've got sample cults such as the Children of Dagda, the cult of Elena Amaro, and so on. And I mean, a guide to how to handle them. It's all basically clean and neatly tidy, but as you would expect from an Onyx Path publishing title. More pantheons. So the lower Haiti. Again, it's options for the characters to take, and because essentially there's only a limited number of pantheons which are discussed in the core rules. Then we have the Nemeteronovus, basically, or the Nemeton Devos of Gaul. Again, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. Probably would have liked to have seen a pronunciation guide. And this, interestingly, essentially is what we've got here is a cult native to essentially what basically is now modern France, but obviously we're talking ancient Gaul, and the idea that has survived down through the ages in the world. And it's looking at a cult, I would suggest, that is obviously different to what we imagine as like a Celtic cult. We're talking about obviously like the Tuatha of Ireland, which is in the core rules. So we've actually got here like a couple of new paths. So for the lower of Haiti, let's see if we give you one. Don't give you one, but for the Gaul one, you have new path, Druid, complete with Druid necks, and so on. And then we go on to the Asta of Persia. Again, that's not actually. That's going to mean. I mean, here we go. That's going to be interesting to read because I don't know anything about it. It's basically looking at another pantheon that I don't know about. and not seen covered in other role-playing games. And then, so basically, each one you've really got like additional gods, and it's again you've got additional gods, and that you have like Bragi, god of music and poetry from the Aesir. So basically the Norse gods. Omoikani, basically Amatsukami of wisdom and intelligence from the Kami, for that's Japan, and so on. But adding different gods, which which basically the characters can be scions of. And then we go on to purviews, so basically making your own mark, and again that's essentially looking at the powers which the scions themselves would gain from their parents, or their parent, I should say, their immortal parent. So different ones there, and you've got a guide to creating new pantheons as well. And then basically as an example we have Teros of Atlantis. So if you want a more fantastical kind of pantheon, one which is created specifically for the world of Scion, in the canonical world of Scion, Atlantis is fallen, a ruined and lost Terra Incognita. Terra Incognita is essentially the space beyond the normal, ordinary world, where the gods can act. And essentially, the one here, Atlantis, here is given as an example which you could have created yourself, or basically the storyteller, or story guide, I should say. So, complete guide there, and then you've got a guide to crafting relics, and so on. And that's important because essentially, you do have myths where the gods do create basically relics of their own, or have them created. And you basically got an example of relic powers and creation there as well. Okay, and then we get basically just a sample translation guide, and that's fine. Basically, so what you've got, you basically to go from what Scion first edition to second edition. Again, nice piece of artwork. So yeah, that's Scion. Basically, the mysteries of the world, the Scion companion. Basically, an expansion for the setting for both Scion Origin and Scion Hero, which it's going to be interesting. I say going to be an interesting read and write about. I will have a review of that forthcoming. Basically, continue my reviews of Scion. It's new to me because I never looked at it when it was first edition, and now that's being sort of written for the story path system, which I like, is a bit more cinematic, necessary than the storyteller system, which is where it's drawn from. I will have that in the near future. So obviously I want to thank Onyx Path Publishing for sending me copies of this to review. In the meantime, also thank you very much for reading another unboxing in the Nook. If you've enjoyed this, then please do click the like button, and if you want any comments or feedback, do take the time to read them. And of course, if you want to be alerted to yet more unboxings in the Nook, then please do subscribe. Again, thanks for watching. I'll be back soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.